Lawmakers in Congress continue battling over a spending bill that would temporarily fund the government. Joining us now live from Washington, D.C. is Congressman Todd Rokita. Congressman Rokita, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you bet. Good to be with you.
Congressman, a CBS News poll shows 72% of Americans don't want this shutdown, and yet we're still here. Why?
Well, we're here because the Senate and the President won't talk with us. You know, when we're in whenever you're in a serious disagreement, whether it's with your spouse, your neighbor, whoever, the way out of it is to talk. And we have offered 4 different proposals over the last several days and hours, and every time, including 4 times in a row, we've been told no, 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 and another no. And we've been sent here to try to rein in our government spending. And we are piling on debt to our children and grandchildren, debt that we in the here and now will never pay back to them.
Congressman,
adding to that debt is Obamacare. Latest estimates are $2 trillion over the next 2 years. The Affordable Care Act is unaffordable. And so this is a time when we're setting budget priorities, when we're approaching the end of our authority to operate on the government, to have this discussion. We are willing to talk.
Staying in the House, Congressman, Speaker of the House John Boehner has taken heat from both sides of the aisle during the shutdown. How would you characterize his leadership?
Well, I think House leadership is doing a good job. These are challenging times. We do want to negotiate. We do want to talk. Our conference, the Republicans, are largely unified around John Boehner in leadership. I think he is showing leadership and deserves to be followed on this issue.
Now, if the Senate continues to reject these piecemeal proposals from the House, what is the logical next move to get us out of this mess?
Well, depending on how long this goes, we may next be running up against the nation's debt ceiling. There is a number in statute that we are not allowed to pass in terms of our debt. So the issue is, whether to raise it and how much to raise it, and if so, what do we get in terms of spending cuts and reforms? So again, the children of tomorrow don't have to bear the burden of our largesse in the here and now. So that date is currently, or the debt ceiling, we're set to bump up against it, let me say, around October 17th. So if this continues to go on into mid-October, there might be a chance for a global resolution to this.
Now, speaking of the debt ceiling, President Obama said this morning that there will be no negotiating over raising the debt limit by October 17th. So what is your take on these negotiations?
Well, he's saying no to us now, will not meet with us, but he has negotiated with us over the debt ceiling 2 years ago. So there is precedent for that. And frankly, the stakes are higher. We're talking about economic impact at that point. You don't see that in a general sense with a partial government shutdown. And the state of the economy, the strength of the economy, is usually, at least from a historical perspective, tied to the president.
Congressman, quickly, in your mind, is there any chance for resolution down by the weekend?
Oh, I'm always holding out a chance. We will continue to open up parts of the government that we agree on. For example, we're going to vote today to fund the Veterans Affairs, pay the National Guard. Yesterday, we voted to fund the NIH and the national parks, and even the Washington, D.C. government. So we continue to offer proposals. We continue to offer solutions. And I think eventually the American people will demand the same of the President and Harry Reid.
Congressman, thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
That was